For second sem students, I am dealing with the chapter Chemical Energetics. In Chemical Energetics, first they have given review of thermodynamics. What are the basic terms involved in the thermodynamics? We will study one by one. There may be a system, surrounding, and the types of system, types of processes, and then properties, and then laws of the thermodynamics. First of all, what is thermodynamics? Thermodynamics is the interaction of heat and work associated with physical and chemical transformations. Thermodynamics is the thermodynamics deals with interaction of heat and work associated with physical and chemical transformations. Physical and chemical transformations. In another way also we can define thermodynamics. Thermodynamics deals with the transfer of energy and its effects on the properties of the system. So thermodynamics deals with transfer of energy and its effects on the properties of the system. So thermodynamics deals with the interaction of heat and work associated with physical and chemical transformations, or in another way also we can define thermodynamics deals with transfer of energy and its effect on the properties of the system. Next is the system and surrounding. We will go for system and surrounding. System and surrounding. To explain these concepts, system and surrounding, for example, consider a beaker. This is a beaker. This one is a liquid in a beaker. A beaker containing liquid. A beaker containing liquid. This one is considered as system. This one is an surrounding, and this is an boundary. So, what is a system? System is a specified portion of the universe which is under thermodynamic study. For example, this whole is the universe. A liquid present in the beaker is considered as a specified portion. This is the specified portion of the universe which is under thermodynamic study, and is called the system. Then, what is the surrounding? The portion of the universe excludes the system. Whatever the portion present excluding the system, that portion is called the surrounding. And then boundary, the boundary which differentiates the system and surrounding is called the boundary. The boundary may be an imaginary or a real boundary. Here we can see this wall of the beaker. This is a real imaginary. And here this is a system and this is a surrounding. This one is considered as the imaginary boundary. Then another one example if you want to take means for system and surrounding. For example, a classroom. A students present in a classroom is a system, and whatever the area present outside the classroom, that is considered as the surrounding, and walls of the classroom is considered as a boundary. So many examples you will get for the system and the surrounding. System is nothing but it is a specified portion of the universe which is under the thermodynamic study. The portion which excludes the system, that is called the surrounding, and boundary which differentiates the system and the surrounding is called the boundary. types of system. There are three types of system. Open system, closed system, isolated system. To explain these types of system, consider the examples. Consider a beaker containing a water, and this one is the Bunsen burner. This heat flows out. I will explain afterwards clearly. So to explain the open system, we have taken a beaker, in that water. Take a water in a beaker and start heating. After some times what happens, the water gets evaporated as a water vapor. Means the mass exchanges with the surrounding and heat also flows out. Energy also exchanges with the surrounding. Both if mass and energy exchanges with the surrounding, such a system is called the open system. To explain the closed system, again you have to take a beaker, in that water you have to close that beaker with the help of lid. What happens means, the water vapor cannot be evaporated. Only heat flows out. Such a system where only energy exchanges with the surrounding. Such type of systems are called the closed systems. And for isolated system, example is thermos flask you can take. In the case of thermos flask, the walls are thermally insulated. Means there is neither exchange of matter nor the energy with the surrounding. Such a types of systems are called the isolated system. One of the point here you have to remember, no system is 100% isolated. Why means, for example, in a thermos flask, if you have taken a hot water, after some hours or some minutes, what happens means that water will become cool. Because of that reason, we can conclude that no system is 100% isolated system. So these are the types of the system. Open system means both matter and energy exchanges with the surrounding. Closed system means only energy exchanges with the surrounding. Isolated system is neither energy nor matter exchanges with the surrounding. Terms we will discuss. Standard state of a system. Standard state of a system. The standard state of a system is the most stable state of a system. Most stable state of a system at any specific temperature. At any specific temperature and 1 bar pressure. And 1 bar pressure is called standard state of a system. Next is state functions. State functions. The variables like temperature, pressure, volume, which define the state of a system, are called state functions, or thermodynamic functions, The variables may be temperature, pressure or volume which define the state of a system are called the state functions or thermodynamic functions. And one of the point here we have to remember, at the equilibrium state of a system, the system has definite values for these variables. At the equilibrium state of a system, the system has the definite values for the thermodynamic variables. And if a system changes from one form to the other, and the values for these thermodynamic functions also varies. The types of processes. First of all, what is process? Process is an operation in which the system changes from one equilibrium state to the another. So, thermodynamic process is an operation where a system changes from one equilibrium state to the other equilibrium state. So, there are 6 types of processes. First one, isothermal process. The change in temperature is equal to 0. Adiabatic process, dq is equal to 0. Isobaric process, change in pressure is equal to 0. Isoporic process, change in volume is equal to 0. Reversible process, and then irreversible process. So one by one we will discuss. Isothermal process. Isothermal process is a process where there is the temperature of the system remains constant. The temperature of the system remains constant. Such a process is called the isothermal process, and change in temperature Tt is equal to 0. For example, an experiment containing a reaction mixture placed in a thermostat is in equilibrium with the surrounding. The system is in equilibrium with the surrounding. That is an example for the isothermal process. And then adiabatic process. Adiabatic process is a process where there is no heat exchange between the system and the surrounding. There is no heat exchange between the system and the surrounding. Such a process is called adiabatic process. Example, liquefaction of gases subjected to the Joule-Thomson effect. And then isobaric process means, isobaric process is a process where the pressure of the system remains the constant. So change in pressure dP is equal to 0. Example, you can give any reactions taking place in an open vessel. And then isoporic process. Isoporic process is a process where the volume of the system remains constant and the change in volume dV is equal to 0. Examples, any reactions taking place with a closed vessel. Then reversible process. Reversible process is a process, it is a very slow process and the reaction will be reversed at any stage. Reversible process is a very slow process and it will be reversed at any stage, and reversible process contains many equilibrium states. And irreversible process is a process which occurs only in one step, and it cannot be reversed, and equilibrium exists only in the initial and the final states. Equilibrium exists between the initial and the final states. Example for irreversible process is all the natural processes. All the natural processes are the irreversible processes. Internal energy, it is denoted by U. Internal energy is the sum of all the energies of the system. Internal energy is defined as the sum of all the energies of the system. It may be a kinetic energy, rotational energy, vibrational energy, and so on. So, internal energy is defined as the sum of all the energies of the system, and it is denoted by U. And then properties of the system. Properties, thermodynamic properties. There are two types of properties. One is intensive properties. Another one is extensive properties. Thermodynamic properties majorly divided into two types, intensive properties and extensive properties. Now, what are intensive properties? Intensive properties are the properties which does not depend on the quantity of the substance present in a system. Intensive properties are the properties which does not depend on the quantity of the substance present in a system. Such properties are called intensive properties. Example, temperature, specific gravity, viscosity. Then extensive properties. Extensive properties are the properties of a system which depend on the quantity of a substance present in a system. Such type of properties are called the extensive properties. Example, volume, enthalpy, entropy. Enthalpy, entropy, and volume. These are the properties of the system. And one of the point noted is intensive properties is not an additive property, but extensive properties are an additive properties. Laws of thermodynamics. Laws of thermodynamics. There are 4 laws of thermodynamics. First one is zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics. Second one, first law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics, and then third law of thermodynamics. This third law of thermodynamics we will study after the completion of thermochemistry. First we will go through zeroth law of thermodynamics. What is the statement of zeroth law of thermodynamics? If two bodies are in thermal equilibrium with the third one, they are in turn thermal equilibrium with each other. They are in turn thermal equilibrium with one another. Thermal equilibrium with one another. So this is the statement of the zeroth law of thermodynamics. If two bodies are in thermal equilibrium with the third one, they are in turn thermal equilibrium with one another. For example, consider a body A, and this is consider a body B, this is a body C. If a body A is in thermal equilibrium with C and body B is also thermal equilibrium with C, and these bodies A and B are in turn thermal equilibrium with one another. This is the 0th law of thermodynamics. Now, what is thermal equilibrium? For example, consider a body A, consider a body B. The temperature of A is higher than the temperature of B. The temperature of A is higher than the temperature of B. Then the temperature flows from A to the B. There will be a transfer of temperature from body A to the B. At a point, the temperature of B becomes same as that of the temperature of A, and then there will be a transfer of temperature will be stopped. That state is called the thermal equilibrium. Body B is in thermal equilibrium with A and A is in thermal equilibrium with B. So the major concept from the 0th law of thermodynamics is the concept of temperature is introduced and the thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium. Okay. Then of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. What is the statement of first law of thermodynamics? It is based on the conservation of mass. Energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to the another. This is the statement of the first law of thermodynamics. So mathematically we can represent delta U is equal to Q plus W, where delta U is the change in internal energy, and Q is the amount of energy absorbed, and W is the work done on the system. So first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to the another. And mathematically we can represent delta U is equal to Q plus W, where delta U is the change in internal energy and Q is the amount of energy absorbed and W is the work done on the system. And what are the limitations of thermodynamics that we will discuss? First law of thermodynamics limitations. Limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. The thermodynamics gives a perfect relationship between the heat absorbed and the work performed by the system, but it puts no restriction on the direction of flow of heat. It does not explains the direction of flow of heat, in which direction the heat will flows. That concept does not explained by the first law of thermodynamics. And then the first law of thermodynamics states that the energy from one form will be converted into another form, but heat energy cannot be completely converted into a work performed by the system unless there is some changes elsewhere. So there will be some changes to take place to convert the heat energy into the work. This concept cannot be explained by the first law of thermodynamics. And then feasibility of a process, whether the process will takes place or not. Feasibility of a process, or you may call spontaneity of a process, cannot be explained by the first law of thermodynamics. These are the limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. The direction of flow of heat cannot be explained by the thermodynamics, and heat energy completely cannot be converted into a work unless there is some changes, and then feasibility process cannot be explained by the first law of thermodynamics.